Hey, it's Josh from Pittsburgh Prep, and I'm going to walk you through our second math lesson, Arithmetic 2. There are 4 key components to this lesson: fractions, rates, ratios, and percentages. Now, a fraction we know is a part of a whole, and there are a few skills we need here. You're going to need to be able to, say, convert between a fraction and decimal, fractions and percentages, and vice versa. But we also need to be able to manipulate fractions, say, add and subtract, multiply, divide a fraction by a fraction. And you might think you know how to do this, but we need to make sure. I cannot tell you how many thousands of students I've had that think they're confident in the skill, but then cannot manipulate a fraction that involves, say, algebra, or is a fraction divided by a fraction. We're going to build this skill. We're going to show you how in this very lesson, so pay close attention here. Now, with a rate is a unit per time or volume. We've probably seen rates before, like distance over time, or even in everyday life. We hear our parents complain about how many miles per gallon the car gets, or how many miles per hour we were driving in our lesson. Now, we're going to focus on how to manipulate those rates and change them. So if you do have something like miles per hour, can you find miles per day, or can you find feet per hour? And that's a skill we're going to build in this lesson. Now, with a ratio is really just a comparison of 2 or more values. And you've seen this probably in plenty of ways. A colon B, like Vegas style odds. A divided by B in fraction form. Or A to B written out. And the 2 skills I want you to focus on here would be how we take a ratio and find a missing value by using it in a proportion. And the other skill would be how to jump between ratios, to say build a super ratio. So if you have one ratio that compares A to B and another ratio that compares B to C, can you find the ratio, say, A to C? We're going to build that skill together, and we're going to show you how. All right, let's wrap up with percentages. A percent can be defined as something out of 100. So think, per being Latin for like 4 or out of, and cent being 100. There are 2 skill sets we need here. The first is word translation. How do we take an abstract idea and put it in an equation? So if I asked you, what is 80% of 50, can you take that idea and put it in an equation form? The second skill set is the idea of solving for a given scenario. So if we said that an $800 refrigerator had 20% off with an additional 10% off, could you find that final discount? Or if, say, a stock went from $80 one day to $65 the next, could you find the percentage decrease? If you can't, don't worry, we'll get you there in this lesson. Pay close attention and good luck. We'll see you for our 3rd math lesson, Algebra 1.